All right, you are now tuned in to another episode of HipPodHedz. I am No Sage along with Novek as always, and we got a special guest to talk about a special show. Um, Vic, my man from way back in the college
Oh yeah.
days. Welcome to the
Uncle
show, man.
man.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Novak obviously remembers you too on campus as well.
Yep.
I to protect identities and fictitious stories. I think you were known around the campus as Creeper. I don't know if that's a positive moniker or not, but you were definitely a mythical force to say.
You drive by there sometimes and you be like, man, all these stories on this campus, man.
Yes, indeed.
Oh yeah, those are the good old days.
But things are looking up for you, bro. I just want to say, congrats to you, man. I know you moved up to the soup level for CPD, and obviously I ain't talking about the police.
Right.
All respect to you. All respect to you.
Yeah, it's very exciting, man. Very exciting. Very happy.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So, man, this topic, man, like you've been bothering me to watch Atlanta, like it feels like for years, bro.
Years, man. Years.
It's like I want to say weeks, months, but it almost probably felt like more than a year.
Yeah.
And then I kept pushing it off. And then, obviously the final season is done. And I was like, man, I guess I gotta finally catch up.
Right.
And yeah, I finally, sped through it. And I just wanted to talk, like some of your favorite episodes. But yeah, bro. I mean, like, what is it about the show before we get into like the specific episodes that you felt like, was something that you always felt like you needed to kind of come back to or kind of tell folks, hey man, you need to watch this like immediately?
Well, I think what I liked about it the most was there wasn't anything out there that was anything like it. It was just so different from everything else on TV. And it just had this like magical surrealist quality to it that like sometimes I get sucked into an episode and I would lose track of time and I'd be like, no, don't let the episode end. I like what they're doing here. And then it would be over. I'm like, ugh! Like it would just be that all the stories would be that good. And they were different stories and you didn't have to watch them all in order. Like there wasn't like a whole story. So you could jump in the fourth episode and be all right with it. You didn't have to watch the previous 3 episodes. So that's what I liked about it. And, it had like this mythical quality to it that was just like nothing I had ever seen on TV, and that's what I really liked about it. So, and a lot of the themes that they touched on in a lot of the episodes really struck home with me, like, experiences that I had kind of had, living the way I grew up. And it was like, I grew up in Pilsen on the south side of Chicago. It was kind of a rough neighborhood, but then now as an adult, you get to I kind of live on the other side, so it was that nice clash between the way I grew up to what I'm doing now. And it addressed that like a way that I had never seen before on TV. That's what that was really what really attracted me to it.
That's dope, man. I mean, because like, for anyone who hasn't seen the show, definitely watch it. You obviously don't have to dive in order, just like Vic was mentioning. But yeah, I mean, you can like relate to it like in a lot of different levels. I think what was sort of putting me off from watching it was like I saw some of the Empire show, right? And I never got to complete that show.
Mhm.
But then I was like thinking, oh, this is just like another like music show where like some rapper comes up and tries to make things happen.
Right.
And I was like definitely taken by surprise. Like it was not that.
It was not that. Yeah.
It was not linear. It was not straightforward. It was not a sitcom. I'm kind of like, it's blowing my mind that you're saying mythical because like it's so many things. Because it's not just a satire. It's not horror. It's not comedy. It's just
Right.
like it's like a slice of life, but like
Right.
a
Yeah.
slice of rotten life in a lot of ways.
like how the seasons are broken up. Like you got Robin season, that was season 2. You know, Alligator Man. You know,
Yeah.
that episode caught me off guard, man. Because you watching it and you right, Vic, about that. I grew up not too far from Pilsen, man. I grew up in Austin, Lundale, man. And so it's crazy. You got these neighbors, man. We had neighbors that had chickens and stuff like that. And they call him the Chicken Man, and you had the Alligator Man. And you're like, this guy raises chickens, man. But the Alligator Man was wild because I didn't believe they actually had an alligator on the show. That's what made it so disturbing because
Right.
there's no alligator in the back room. I think they're just acting to pretend there's an alligator, and they finally showed it. And in fact, it's Cat Williams, and I'm just like, what is really going on here?
Oh yeah, the payoffs were good. They were all, they always set things up, and the payoffs were always worth it. Like at the end of the show or whatever, whenever they set up a joke, it was always a really awesome payoff like that. That's another thing about it. So
Yeah, like when we were like off camera right now, before we recorded, like, Novak, you were kind of like saying it's almost like a modern day Seinfeld in a lot of different ways. And then watching the show like back to back and not having to wait, a year or more for the next season to pop in, like I was almost like, trying to stir my brain. Like this, for me, it kind of felt like this show of somebody watching something like the Chappelle Show, but then their own take on it. And like even like as good as the Chappelle Show is, like it almost, I don't want to say it's like smarter than the Chappelle Show, but I think it's like it takes it in a lot of different directions where you kind of like look at a show like that and kind of say, okay, it's like an SNL type of setup or whatever, or you have guests come in. But Novak, when you're just talking about the alligator episode, like with Cat Williams come in, like, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It definitely is one of those things where I think even Novak, you were just telling me just a moment ago, it's like it kind of just sits with you. Like you don't know what you just watched, and then like days later or weeks later, you're like, it kind of just hits you, and you're like, man, like the show just stays with you, I guess. Is what
yeah.
I'm trying to
Oh
say.
yeah, definitely.
Or even think back to the prison, the jail episode when they got locked up, and the guy thought he was dating a woman, and they're in lockup. There's all guys in there, and I'm like, they're all guys. He's just like, you remember we used to sit in the back of the theater. We used to just, and everybody in the holding cell was like, that's the guy, right? That ain't no guy. That's the love of my life. Oh man, I mean, it's slick, man. I mean, I still think the Teddy Perkins episode is probably my favorite one of all time. That was just, man. It was like horror almost. It was like Atlanta horror pretty much. That Teddy Perkins could have been. It could have been a Simpsons episode, the Treehouse of Horror. That's what Teddy Perkins could have been.
And then I don't know if is Teddy Perkins real? Because I think there was some pictures of him at the Oscars or something. Was that a real thing? Was that a hoax? I was like, it's weird too, because there was the other episode. I think it was the 3rd or 4th season where they had the kids that were adopted by the lesbian couple, and that wound up to be a real story. So it's weird how they take like stuff from the life and they would adapt it. And if you weren't familiar with the story, you say, where did they come up with the ideas? Then you look for it, and it actually happened. So was the Teddy Perkins thing real? Because I had seen some pictures of a dude at the Oscars and sitting behind somebody, and he looked just like Teddy Perkins. You guys know anything about that?
It's like, I don't know. I mean, it's very believable, man. I mean, he had a James Brown wig on and white paint on his face, but you think Michael Jackson met like a Southerner at that point, and the fact that the acting was so good with the whole Teddy Perkins thing, because it was supposed to be funny, then it became funny. It's almost like it's like bad satires. You watching this, it's like a train wreck,
right?
And when they were like moving his furniture and stuff like that, Lakeith is all scared of him. And the way he kept appearing like a vampire in the house, I kept thinking about like Renfield or something like that. I was like, what if Teddy's a vampire or something like that? He's crossed the seas of time or something like that to be with them. That's a wild episode. I've still been trying to figure that episode out. Like, what did I just watch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That one definitely stays with you for a while.
Yeah, there's a lot of episodes like that. Like the one that I'm starting to think about right now is the one that the Walt Disney like documentary episode
Oh
about the
yeah, yeah,
guy
yeah.
who directed a Goofy movie.
The Goofy movie.
Yes, I mean, Vic, when you're saying is that character real from that other episode, it kind of makes me think of this documentary episode because like a lot of it is treated like almost straightforward, where you're almost supposed to believe it.
Right.
And it is borderline satire, but also, parody as well, but not not necessarily like tipping the hat that it is parody, right?
Right.
All the time, anyway.
Yeah, my favorite episode is the barbershop episode with Bibby, the barber. Oh my God. I have a
Show about
friend.
nothing.
Yeah, I have a friend. My best friend, his brother, it is Bibby. I mean, he's always hustling. He installs cable, does construction. He's always trying to make a buck. He used to, when we were young, we were like 17, 18 years old. He would call us, he would say, "Hey, come on, guys, come over to my house. I got a keg of beer. Call your friends over. Come on." So we'd go to his house and he'd have one of those mini Heineken kegs that only had like 3 beers, 4 beers in it. You know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, let's crack this keg open." And we're like, "Wait a minute, there's not enough beer." He's like, "Well, we got to do a little construction, a little demo work first." So he'd give us like these little mini sledgehammers and he'd have us break the walls down because he was redoing his bathroom. So
Oh,
he was just
wow.
using us, and then he'd give us like, we'd be all covered in dust. And then we'd be drinking this beer out of these little tiny cups, so he could get enough beer for everybody. But he was the same guy, like, "Hey, help me move some lumber." That was the exact line I was watching it with my friend and I told him, "Dude, this is your brother. Like your brother tricked us one time into helping him move lumber." And he didn't trick us with lunch, but he was just the exact same guy. He got into a car accident and ran, and I couldn't stop watching the show, man. It was just so true to my life. And I'm like, man, Bibby that's my best friend's brother. They just nailed it. Like the whole show completely nailed it. And that's one of those things for me that I'm like, man, this is like the best show I've ever seen. And that's one thing I have a problem because at the end of the series, the last season, they were kind of closing up stuff and they never went back to Bibby. That was the only time he was on the show. Who was the other guy? Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy was like another guy that I grew up with. My brother, who, like you couldn't invite him everywhere because you never know when he was gonna, oh wait, did we lose him? Did we lose Jason?
Yeah, it'll be right back. It might be the weather.
Oh yeah. Oh, anyway, but it's still recording, right?
We got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So my brother was like that too. Was like, you never knew when you couldn't invite him everywhere, and he might get into a fight, or it was just one of those wild people. But anyway, with Tracy, they kind of closed his story, but Bibby, they never went back to him. So I was really upset about him because it was one of my favorite characters. I thought at least they'd say, okay, he's doing all right, or he's doing something, but they never really did.
Oh man, Bibby was hilarious, man. The fact that he started cutting your hair and then he leave, he got another mission.
Right.
He's really looking like, did he just leave me? Like I relate to, I had a barber who left me in the chair one day to go sell drugs. And I'm sitting up there like, I'm looking around, I'm like, he just got in the car and drove off. And everybody looking at me like, he'll be right back in a couple of minutes. 40 minutes later, I'm still sitting in the barbershop chair waiting for him to come finish my haircut. And everybody in the shop was like, should we just close the shop up and leave?
Oh no.
And so we ended up basically one of the guys in the shop swept the shop up. He goes, I guess he got picked up or something like that. So we left. I never went back to that barber shop again, but we talked through Facebook. And I said, man, what happened that day you left me in the chair? He goes, man, I left you in the chair that day. I'm like, yeah, you didn't come back. He goes, did y'all lock the shop up? I said, no. Who's that? Yeah, we locked the shop up. He goes, man, this time I see you, I give you a free haircut. I'm like, man, just left me in the chair, man. I mean, I was sitting there like, I had a lining on one side of my head, the rest of me didn't line up. So I'm sitting there like one side done, the other side done. I got up and walked out. Everybody know a Bibby. I definitely agree with that. That guy had a lot of hustles. He was selling like videos in the store. He was cutting hair. He was selling drugs.
Stolen iPhones.
So anything.
Yeah,
man. You got tickets to the Bulls game? I got tickets to the Bulls game. I got 300 level for like $400. I'm like, no, they're not $400, man. Those tickets are not $400. Where you get them from? Kid gave them to me. You gonna sell me something you just got from a kid?
Right.
Yeah, it's a charity event, but I need 400 for them. I'm like, you ain't getting no $400 for those tickets. Yeah, Barber, that's a perfect character though. I mean, the barber is the biggest hustler sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
in that time period, barbers now, they charge $100 for a haircut. Not then. Yeah, man. It's expensive to have hair, man. Either you Brian Urlacher, you paying for a haircut. You got two options, or you just do it at home. Yeah, I could imagine that pay for a head of hair and then get a haircut. What the hell, man? I'm just gonna let it grow wild at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking on Atlanta, what's the one episode that you saw just made you just go besides the barbershop that made you go, man, I've been in this situation before?
Oh, I got one. Going on a broke date.
Oh yeah.
Going on a broke date.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude.
When he was trying to he was calling his friend for hey man, what's a good place to take this girl? My funds are low. I'm like, oh man, I've been there, man. I have been there.
Yeah.
Trying to order soup.
The waitress.
I ain't
And have the waitress upsell you.
Yeah, like you're killing me right now. You're killing me.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one where the parking lot attendant guy, where they're like, hey, you work for here? Like, nah, I found this in a Kroger's parking lot, and this is the Jedi sword.
Yeah, that lightsaber. Oh,
yeah, a lightsaber. He had a green lightsaber. Yep. That was the one where I'm like, fuck. I remember that. That's one I'm like, I have been in this exact situation.
Yeah, that episode made me go, what the hell? The broke date, it is pretty funny, man. You think back to times you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, and you be like, you know what? I'm not even hungry. Why don't you just get what you want?
Right.
I already ate before I came out. When he said that, I started laughing. He said, I already ate before I got here. That is true. You'd be like, you know what? I just spent $15 to park here. I'm not about to buy you food. What you?
There's my entree.
Bill's character. It's like you said about.
Oh man, but yeah, that's the one. That's the one where I'm like, yeah, I've been there. I definitely have been there before.
Great show though, man. Great show. I mean, I still like that episode. Like the funniest one's the one he got to the airport. He had the gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the airport. I used to have a recurring nightmare that I could still carry it in. I forgot to take my gun out of my pocket and I go to the airport. So that was like a nightmare. And I got there and I'm like, I got to throw it in the garbage can. So that Atlanta gave me like nightmares about forgetting to go somewhere you can't go with it.
Right.
And I'm like, no. And the Alligator Man episode sparked that whole situation. That's the only time episodes go together in that situation, because when he gave him the gun.
Oh, he gave him the gun. Yeah, that was.
And the gun showed up in the next episode.
Yeah.
No, 2 episodes later, right? In that situation.
No, because I think Alligator Man was the first one, and the airport one was the last episode, because that was right before the season ended.
Oh yeah, we didn't know what happened to Ernie.
Yeah. You didn't know if he was going to get fired or yeah. Yeah, that was really good.
What's your guys' take on Paperboy?
I don't know. I liked him as a character. I thought he was great. I don't know, man. I see like he was like the constant in the show, right? Like he was always like, he never got too excited. He was just the constant on the show. So if you could see all the other characters changing around him or getting more excited, but he was always really chill. That's what I think I liked about him the most, And he always seemed like he had a bigger plan than all the other characters. He always seemed more aware than everybody else too.
Yeah, he did have those thought-provoking moments where he'd be sitting there just staring, and he'll say one word the whole episode. That's where I go into the whole Seinfeld thing, because he had some characters on Seinfeld, like the soup guy, everything. I mean, when he did that, he did he did that whole TV access TV show. That was the funniest one. I didn't even think that was an episode. I'm watching it, and they're interviewing Paperboy, and they kept asking him what he think about stuff, and they kept trying to get him to be misogynistic.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? That episode was funny, man.
Yeah.
The interview was pretty funny. They had the little music and whatever they play like on cable access TV.
Yeah.
He's like, Ernie, how did you get me on this? Like, he was looking at Ernie like, why did you bring me on this show?
Well, the best part about that was the commercials, like the Arizona iced tea.
Oh.
And they were trying to sell it for $1.49, but it says 99 cents on the can.
They were seriously mad about that. It was it's gonna be 99 cents. In the Dodge Charger commercial, the Dodge Atlanta.
My favorite one was the I was like a spiritual guy. He's like, do you want to be smarter than a baby dolphin? He works. He really works.
Yeah, it was kind of like a psychic hotline. Right?
Like a psychic, yeah. Like, come and get a free Nutella sandwich and a lemonade. Oh man.
Yeah, the psychic commercial. I don't know where the hell that came from. That's just as bad as the house party. The house party episode when they went to the house party, and oh man, it was crazy because they spent the whole episode trying to get ready to go to a party and got to the party and discovered everybody at the party was strange. You had that couple basically. The couple basically they were scared. They didn't know what the hell the couple was thinking. And Ernie's face in those episodes had me cracking up. You were like, they invited us here. And he's like, Ernie, come here. The guy was trying to like pretend like he was buddies with Ernie, and Ernie looked at him like, I don't know this man. Classic stuff, man. I mean that them shows, man. Sometimes you just be like, you got real what the hell moments sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The I work at the park district, so I one that I thought of a lot was the Trinity to the Bone with the nanny who was watching the kid, and it was so true, man. Like I see that at work. Like the nannies will bring the kids into the park and do the classes with them and do everything, and these kids, they speak Spanish, they're blonde hair, blue-eyed kids. And they speak Spanish. I'm like, what the hell? Do they not spend any time with their parents? No, not really. So I totally got that. Episode. And the funny thing about that episode was I had a death in the family, and around that time, and I saw my own family in that. Like whenever somebody, I haven't, fortunately, thank God, we haven't had too many deaths. I have a small family. And we haven't had too many deaths in the family. But when somebody passes away, the family just gets ugly. Like they start fighting over petty stuff, and they bring up stuff that happened when they were like 15 years old. And then I remember that they were having that big argument where everybody was yelling at each other. And then the one guy's like, hey, are you scared? And the little kid's like, yeah, I'm kind of scared. He's like, no, don't be scared. This is how we mourn. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, that's how we mourn. It's how my family mourns, man. When somebody passes away, it gets ugly, but it's not like, it's just how we do it. It really touched me, that episode. And then with the whole nanny thing, it really struck a chord with me. So that's another, it wasn't my favorite episode, but it's a really powerful episode. And I'm like, man, a lot of themes that they touch on are really true, at least for me.
What do you think about the episode where Ernie got beat up? And,
that was a good episode too. Oh man. When they went to the, what was it, like
Tracy,
a
right?
party, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Tracy beat everybody up, or Tracy saved them, right? Didn't he save them? They were about to get all beat up, and then he came in, and yeah, that was a good episode, man. When they were
at the
they didn't get a hotel, they were going to stay with that girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was an awesome episode, man.
But Ernie got out that car, and basically so funny when Darius looked at him like he ain't coming back. And and Tracy, he hit Tracy a few times. Tracy hit him, and Ernie went down.
Right.
that car ride back was so agonizing. That he's sitting in the back of the car,
Oh,
and
yeah.
as he got beat up, he tried to keep a straight face. At the paperboy in the car looking at him like, "Good job, you stood up for yourself, but you got beat down."
Right.
Man, Ernie got laid out, man. I was like, that episode that reminded me like that's just realized one of my buddies, they got into a fight with his roommate in college and they fought, and then we had to drive back somewhere. They're sitting in the car that they fought, and I'm looking like, wow. I'm like, I wouldn't go sleep around him tonight after you punched him like that.
Oh man.
Ernie looked terrible in that car, man. He just, he's a fascinating character. You get into a relationship with him and his baby mama, and that relationship is crazy.
Yeah.
When she was going on dates, he was at home about to cry. I was like, wow.
Right.
He's watching this kid and she's going on a date. The look on his face, he was mortified.
Right. Yeah, that was another relationship that was they did a lot of episodes too about them. So I like that too. That was that was definitely something to watch. It's definitely something I liked it.
Well, she took him to that German festival.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that one. And she was all dressed up, right?
Yeah, so it was all.
We just froze.
Yeah. So it was all dressed up, basically. She had the leading hoses and everything else.
Right.
And Ernie's dressed normal. And he looking like, why are you dressed like this? Because she got into that's a real festival. Yeah. She got into it like she got into it like it was the greatest thing ever. And that's my first introduction. That's the first episode of Atlanta I ever saw.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see the other episodes. I saw the German episode first.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much how I got into Atlanta. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. I mean, it gave me that Seinfeld vibe when I first saw that episode.
Yeah.
Like, what is this about? Yeah, I mean, Ernie tried to be a record promoter, tried to be a manager. He tried everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything, man. I mean, financially, he struggled the whole entire time financially.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody know Ernie, so that's how I felt.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He had it pretty tough. I think what I would want to see is more Paperboy's character development. That's what I want. That's what I would have wanted to see more, how Paperboy developed over time. Because he was changing from every season.
Yeah.
He started off dark and then he got a little bit brighter in terms of like his personality. He used to sit on that couch with the girlfriend and do nothing. I used to have me cracking up, basically. They just sit there the whole entire day. Lakeith sit there too and stare at him. I'm like, this is weird.
I think the one episode that Paperboy struck a chord with me was he like wandering around Amsterdam and then like he was arguing with somebody that you thought he was sort of interested in, but then it was like the mom's name or something like that at the end of the episode. Yeah, you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Like, because I think like she he dreamt the whole thing, right? It was like he was bothering him the whole way, and then I think at one point they acknowledged what that character's name was. It was like the same name as his mom or something.
His mom, yeah. That was a good episode. I like that. I like episodes like that where they get lost somewhere, and they kind of wander around. Like that used to be when I was young. Like I would have these great adventures, and I don't have those kind of that doesn't happen anymore. You know, I know what my life is going to be like, but those adventures when they wander around and they find this place, and then they go, you know, they see like a cool part of the city or whatever. That really struck a chord with me. I really like that because, like I said, now there's not too much surprises in my life, so it's nice to see that. It's nice to go back to that and have those kind of adventures every once in a while, even if it's through the TV or whatever.
You remember the FUBU episode?
The FUBU, yeah.
Where his mom in the FUBU t-shirt?
Yeah.
I was like the yellow FUBU shirt, man. I was
Yeah.
like, you got to be kidding me, man. That episode hit home because I had a red FUBU shirt, but I had a yellow. And I thought about how ridiculous that shirt looked today. He's young Ernie in the classroom, and he thought he was like the best dressed. There's anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, that episode caught me off guard because I was like, is this young Ernie? The way they segmented back in time with him basically was just really interesting. It made me wonder if he was dreaming the whole time.
Right. But you know what? The kid looked just like him too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, was it a relative? I mean, it looked really. I'm like, how did they do this? Is this CGI or something? It looks like him. I don't know if it was a relative or what, but it was really good, man. I really. And then a young paperboy when he had the like I was in ROTC or something. He had the little hat and everything. That was hilarious, man. That was man. I was cracking up when I saw him.
When they thought the shirt was fake.
Yeah.
And they were fighting.
Yeah, Paperboy was like what? He had to kind of like stand up for him, right?
Yeah, he did.
He was the voice of reason for the school.
Yeah.
So that episode actually came after, I think, the Beatdown episode. And it was very rare that two episodes would kind of like lean into each other.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the FUBU episode was important because you kind of saw that Ern felt bad that Paperboy didn't always stand up for him. But in that situation, he did stand up for him, right? So it was kind of like, I think the whole show is kind of like that as an underlying like character thing for both of them. It's like sometimes they would stand up for each other, but sometimes they wouldn't, I guess.
Yeah, but remember that episode, the kid Devin did kill himself in that episode.
Yeah.
And and when they're sitting on that couch, and you could see that Ernie was all distraught. Paperboy was like, so
yeah, it didn't bother him too much.
He's like, it happened. So what you want to do, Ern? And you got the real FUBU shirt.
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that whole episode, the shirt being fake, because that was a big thing back then. My shirt's real, man. So, it was terrible, man. Even though today, the stuff you can't even tell anymore. That's how crazy the fakes are.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, one thing with Atlanta, man, I mean, it grew so much. I mean, it felt like it was in pilot mode. Like it was on pilot mode for the first 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And every season, the production value got better and better. I still think about the episode when they robbed the restaurant. You remember that episode? The robbery at the drive-thru at the restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the guy pulled up and they recognized him and he started shooting. I was like, man, what? That was the most random scene. And then they dropped the Atlanta title. I was like, what the hell did I just watch? And I related to that because I was like, yeah, that's a day on the West Side. I'm like, yeah, it didn't have any rhyme or reason, but that's how the show opened up with a guy robbing the and that question for you guys now, why did the guys in the restaurant have better guns than people robbing them?
Right.
The guy had an AK-47. I was like, this happened often. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of quirky things in the show where you almost gotta like think, like, is this really based on some element of realism, or is it just Donald Glover trying to like sort of be funny? And it's kind of hard to always understand the difference between the two, right?
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, there's so many examples of this, but like, what was the episode where like Paperboy was getting robbed and the dude just kept apologizing? He's like, hey man,
right.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I just had to do
I need
it.
the keys now.
The most apologetic robber, that was his dude.
Right.
Or it's you. Oh man, he got set up a few times in that situation, or whatever. I mean, like even the part when they had the shooting in the parking lot, and the way he carried himself, man, pretend like it never happened. He just went home every day like it didn't happen. They ended up going to jail for it. Basically, they got out. Ern was on house arrest, I think, at one point on the show. it seemed like he was just doomed to get. They say Ern was just doomed to have something bad to happen the whole entire show.
Right.
Like his relationship with his mom and everything like that. It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. What you guys think? What you guys think about the episode where the episode basically, where the episode like when they're sitting on the boat. You remember that boat episode where you had the two men having a conversation in the
Oh
boat?
yeah.
That
Oh,
was the most bizarre conversation ever.
yeah, I remember that one. That was the
Yeah.
one where he was talking about the I don't remember now what they were talking about on the boat. Was it about
Yeah.
like being white? Like how white was like it was like it wasn't like a race or something like that. Like refresh my memory, man, but I kind of remember that was one of the themes.
They're on the boat, and then they were talking about whiteness, and then they started talking about it, and he's trying to explain it, and then the boat thing turned into the kids sleep in the classroom, so it transitioned to that dude that dozed off.
Yeah.
So what the crazy about Atlanta is like they always having dreams on Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like he's dreaming about the people in the boat, and then that kid woke up in the classroom like nothing happened.
Right.
So like if you step away from TV for a minute, you forget, you don't even see that transition.
Right. Yeah,
they transition very well from fact to fiction and back and forth to where they want to go. I mean, it's pretty tight. I mean, in that situation, but yeah, that thing really hit home basically. I remember that because the kid that woke up, he was having trouble in school and everything like that. They said he might be mentally disabled, and I was like, "What the hell?"
I remember that one.
You remember that part?
Yeah.
How am I mentally disabled?
Right.
Maybe this work is too hard for you, whatever, basically. But yeah, there's some funny stuff on that show, man. Like
that was the episode where they were like, they called DCFS, and then the mom's like, take him. She started packing a bag for him. That was my grandma. I remember one time I'm like, Grandma, you can't hit me anymore. It's like, go ahead, call DCFS. I don't care. They can take you. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, never mind. Okay, I'm gonna be good.
Yeah, pretty much. They were looking like, okay, I'm done parenting. You can go now. Yeah, that episode, man, was crazy. Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot. It was just a lot. Like Ernie, Ern woke up next to the girl that time. That was weird.
Oh yeah.
You don't know how you got there,
right?
Ern had some awkward female moments on that show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I think what do you think about Darius's character? I mean, what's your take on it? You think he's just an aimless drifter, or what? I mean, he'll say something profound every other show.
Yeah,
and he'll go back to smoking.
Right. Yeah, I love that about him. I love that about him. He would have these really in-depth moments at points, and it would be like, wow, that's really good. And then he'd just be in the background, hanging out, getting high. I liked it. I did like that. I appreciated that, from the guy. So I don't know. It was a good little. I wish there was more for him to do. I mean, he did stuff on the show. It's not like he was a background character, but those moments when he said something, it was really deep.
I still remember that episode. He thought that funeral, that man was Tupac.
Oh yeah.
I did that Tupac up there. Oh man, that was terrible, man. I mean, yeah, he thought it was Tupac, but I was like, wow, the living funeral.
Right. The living.
I was like, wow, this would make no sense, man. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, his character, man. I mean, Lakeith's character on this show is just so over. He's a stoner. He's so in a weird place. Like you remember the coat episode, the jacket episode, that that Ern lost his jacket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the way Lakeith talked to him in the car, it's okay, Ern, it's a jacket. You can get another jacket. No, but I need that jacket back. They spent 20 more minutes looking for that jacket.
Right.
Yeah, man, it's some funny stuff, man. I mean, I finally watched that. I finally watched the last few episodes. The way I felt about that show is I felt like it needed more time.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted Teddy Perkins closure. I wanted to see more of these characters develop, man. I
Yeah.
mean, you're right. Tracy's the only one that got his closure.
He got a little closure, right? Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, when Tracy was working in the Foot Locker stealing.
Stealing? Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody was stealing their Foot Locker. So
Right.
that hit home really big time.
Yeah.
Like, I know that person.
It's like all they can do is provide good customer service.
Yeah,
I
you
think
know, later. Go on.
I was gonna say, Novak, when you're talking about the dreams thing, you're right. Like, I think the show does try to lean into the dreams a lot, because was it the final episode or somewhere near the end where the Darius character kept waking up in that like that water chamber or whatever it was?
Yeah, that sensory deprivation. That was the last episode, I think.
Right. So I think the show is trying to like use that as kind of, I don't know, like the blueprint to kind of say
Yeah.
was a lot of the show sort of like mythical, as you know, Vic put it earlier
Yeah.
on. The only time that Darius character was actually off put, I think, was when was he being chased down by somebody who thought that he stole something, but he was actually returning it.
Oh yeah, when he was returning that air fryer.
And there was like people were looting, I guess.
They were looting, yeah. No, I'm trying to bring it back. Yeah, and then that lady on the wheelchair was chasing him down. Oh man.
You gotta be thinking about the all lives matter episode. when Darius was arguing about that, and they're talking about the 12 years of slave shit. I mean, I was like, what is going on in this episode? Yeah, that was bizarre, man. And like like it's just all over the place, man. I mean, like, because Darius's mind is just all over. You can tell, like, when he stopped smoking a little bit, then things got fast for him. Mm-hmm. He had to try to like slow down and figure out what was going on around him.
Right.
They're in London. They're in London. It was wild. London was wild. Yeah, they were over their skis in London, man. They were like, but the funny irony of the whole London episode was, you go over to London, eat Nando's. They eat Nando's in London. Yeah, the restaurant was inside the property. That had me cracking up pretty much. I thought there was a Nando's commercial in the middle of Atlanta. Yeah, man. It's great. Yeah, it's great stories definitely in that situation. I think honestly, Darius got his own show about nothing. Darius is like that Kramer-like character if you think about it.
Yeah.
You draw them parallels, but Kramer was like it's Darius without the weed, pretty much.
And he had some schemes, man. Like, I still want to know how much money that was made off of that the breeding of the puppies, right? Like, didn't he supposedly had some dope investment for Ern for them dogs or whatever?
Didn't he pay him back for the dogs? Didn't he say give him some money in a later episode? I think
he paid him.
Yeah, he did. Okay. Yeah. The investment paid off.
All right.
What do you think about the Florida Man references?
That was good. That was at that time I really wasn't familiar with the whole Florida Man thing, and I had heard about it, like a Florida man does this, a Florida man does that. But then I had read something where Florida has to document all their crimes, and so in order to keep the people anonymous, that's why you always hear it. There's other states that don't do that, but in Florida, it's mandated that they have to report all their crimes, which is why you always hear Florida man does this, Florida man does that. And there's people in the news desk just looking up Florida man to see it pop up so they can make the story, Somebody bites somebody's face off. I think the guy was eating bath salts or something. It was crazy.
It's the way Darius tells that. Darius always tells a story like that. He's in the car.
Yeah.
They driving somewhere and he's scaring the hell out of them before they get there.
I think the most practical Darius example is when they were gonna come up on them sneakers, right? From the guy in the van or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was like,
Oh,
"Hey,
man.
all we gotta do is kiss." And then Aaron's like,
Oh,
"What?
man.
Come on, you want these shoes or
Dude,
what?"
I want to see something. He's like, I want to see something. I'm like, what is it? That episode, I was sitting there quiet, like, what's about to happen right now?
Was that the Soldier Boy episode with the crank that?
Oh, was that going on? That's why Paperboy wasn't with them, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Because they were in the mall and then the guy got shot, right?
I think.
I think
Oh,
so.
yes, you're
Yeah.
right. Yes,
Yeah.
that's how he got shot. That's how I
Right,
got
right.
because Paperboy was like running
He
away.
was
From
shooting
him.
up the mall or whatever. He was getting chased. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought up that Paperboy episode because I feel like, and Vic, I know you haven't seen this show yet, but I feel like The Swarm on Amazon Prime, it's 7 episodes. I feel like it owes a lot to that episode in particular because like there's a lot going on with that show, but it's more or less about like a fan of like a stalker fan of Beyonce, but
Okay.
also like somebody who's kind of hunting people down. I don't want to give too much away for the
Okay.
show, but there
Yeah.
is kind of like that where like
That parallel, yeah.
the whole mythos of that episode was that anyone that would play Soldier Boy Crank that would get hunt down right by the Soulja
Right.
Boy.
Yeah. If they made a crank that video.
Yes, and they made it crank that video. And they're all looking at Paperboy like, you didn't make it crank that video, did you?
And what I loved is they actually showed the video. They showed him doing it. They showed him doing the dance and everything.
And the fact that he was good at it.
Right.
Man, he's really like a Soldier Boy curse, pretty much. I was like, what the hell? Curse of Soldier Boy. Man, it's hilarious, man. I mean, the episodes. Sometimes I feel like I think Atlanta's one of those shows you watch for people because I wish sometimes they bring it to the theater or something like that. Do like a situation where you show Atlanta in the theater and let people discuss it.
Right.
I mean, kids in college today, there's no way they have not had an Atlanta discussion on campus.
Oh yeah. I agree.
It's a lot going on in Atlanta, man. You're like, wow, did that really just happen?
And then a lot of the stuff again, I had to kind of look back up, right? So like when you're talking about the lesbian couple that took over those foster kids, like I didn't realize that was a real episode or that was like a real thing that happened, right?
Oh yeah.
So like
There's I you know what? I had actually heard a podcast. There's like a whole podcast series that about the 2 girls who had taken the kids, and I had actually listened to it, and I didn't connect it till later on after watching the show. I'm like, that kind of sounds vaguely familiar, but it was actually true. So yeah, it was really weird. But yeah, that was definitely a true thing.
What do you guys think about the Budapest episode?
Yeah. And
The what?
The Budapest episode, when it was Budapest.
Oh yeah. That was a good one too.
That's Prime Darius. He thought the place was haunted.
Right. Oh yeah.
I was like, wow, what is really going on right now? Because they're looking for Alfred's phone, right? Majority of the episode.
oh man.
Yeah, that was a good one, man.
Yeah. They all. It's like somebody's always lost clothes, a phone, drugs, something going on, basically.
Right.
That was a pretty good episode, basically. Pretty much, I like that one. I think that it's pretty much. I think the thing is with them is like those characters, man. As they started to travel when Paperboy blew up, that's when the adventures really got interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You see, Aaron was trying to keep it together. He became a voice of reasoning for them, which is the funniest thing.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, great show though, man. What do you think about socks? I think about my cat. I think about our cat sometimes. Every time I hear that name Socks on the show.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty good though. I mean, Jason, you alluded to the swarm. One thing I feel like I'm just waiting to see that show cross over a little bit, basically, and finish off some of the Atlanta episodes.
Wow.
That's what I think is gonna happen, man, because that writing style, when you watch the first couple minutes, you're like, this is Atlanta.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I really want to watch it.
Yeah. It's almost like the spiritual successor to Atlanta. That's the best way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 3 episodes
Yeah.
into it. I haven't seen all 7 of them. I mean, it opens up with a bang.
Yeah, literally. There's an episode in the show. I just finished it today, actually. That it's just a full-on documentary episode. So it is kind of like that Walt Disney episode. So it definitely like references itself a lot, like Atlanta does, and it kind of has you question like how much of it is really based on reality and how much isn't it. Yeah, so I thought it was really well done. It'll be interesting if they tie it together somehow. The episode I was thinking about though was the episode about, what was it, the dude that eventually worked at Best Buy at the end, where they were questioning his whiteness, I guess, or no, his blackness, right, to see if he would get the tuition scholarship for the school. So they all would had to like go through some sort of questionnaire and prove like if you're worthy of this scholarship.
Yeah, I remember.
Man, dude.
Oh man.
We didn't even touch on the cameos. The Migos outside at the campfire.
Right.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I was like, what the hell? It's like, they're talking to them basically out there, and you find out that Migos is like the biggest drug dealers in Atlanta.
Right.
Like, really? I was like, wow, this is interesting. I mean, yeah, they had
Speaking of cameos, which probably wasn't even really a cameo, I honestly didn't realize that Tyler Perry Studios was on Georgia land, and like that whole episode about like the fake Tyler Perry, right? Because you just hear the guy on the speaker just talking to everybody, right? So I mean, that's like, I've never visited the studios of the Tyler Perry Studios, but I would imagine that's how somewhat based in reality it is, how he runs things over there, I guess. And then that's kind of what the Swarm is too. It's kind of like that. It's like sort of based on what exists, and it definitely like is not afraid to kind of Donald Glover and his team. They're not afraid to pull any punches on how self-referential they are.
Right.
What did you think about the Justin Bieber episode?
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was a good episode.
The fact that you get them in that celebrity all-star, the celebrity basketball game.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wow. I was like, wow, this is getting really dark here for a minute.
Right.
And then the end credits, he's singing over the credits. I was like, the fake Justin Bieber singing over the credits. I was like, what the hell? Man, that episode, man, I was like, wow. That's probably one of my favorite episodes, man. It's like the fact that they were really getting upset playing basketball or whatever, basically, and Bieber was killing them. Yeah, I mean, it's one of my buddies at work was talking about, man, that episode is just, man, it pushes the limits pretty much what you can get away with.
Right.
Being a pop star.
Right.
Yeah, it was interesting, man. I mean, you see, it's a lot to that show, man. I still think, some people argue pretty much that, that the best episode is like the lockup episode, and I still come back to that one quite a bit because the acting in that episode was like off the charts, man. It was an early episode, but everybody in there was so believable in that lockup.
Yeah. When he was saying, man, I should have just gone home. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have had. And then the other guy just turns around. I told you, I'm sorry, man. It was that just had me cracking up because he was talking about him. He was sitting right next to him. So yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh,
You know, I like the one they're making fun of Drake.
Oh yeah.
I heard he was offended by that one. That's
for real?
Yeah, his house. They were talking about
Yeah.
trying to go to Drake's house, and they didn't really show him, but they're all in his house and everything, going through the stuff.
The
Right.
cardboard cutout of him.
Man. Yeah, you know, Van talking about my Instagram weak as fuck. I get a picture of Drake. What the hell? Yeah,
So
the
speaking
whole
of that band character, like I feel like a lot of the characters have their comeuppance, like when she was full on like professional killer mode with like the baguette or whatever the hell she was going through.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a good episode. I like that they had those episodes that would focus on her.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like Van put Ernie in some really weird situations. It's like, you know, she'll drag him into, like, you know, Juneteenth episode. She dragged him into the house with the couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you know, it's like you know, he always teased Van about having bougie friends.
Right.
and you know, Ernie's like, I don't fit in with your friends. Yeah, they had some good battles, man. I mean, you know, that situation, like you know, the whole thing, the kid pretty much. Ernie seemed to be a pretty good dad when he was around, and the kid kind of accepted him as being just Ernie at that point. Yeah, it's almost like her expectations were tempered pretty much. How everything's gonna go down at that point. Yeah, you can't get let down if you've never been lied to in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember when you had to pass the drug test?
Mhm.
She was trying to get the pee from the diaper.
Oh, damn. Nasty.
Then did she end up buying pee? Was that the thing? Did she go to Paperboy and like try to buy some pee?
I think you were
man. Yeah, I think so in that situation. Oh man, yeah, they had some moments though, man. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see how this thing crosses over. And I think the way Atlanta's written, and Atlanta's got that certain spirit. I think you'll see a lot of spinoffs of Atlanta. To be honest with you, I don't think it's over. I think that Donald Glover's got like his universe planned out, and we haven't seen all of it yet.
Oh, I hope so, man. I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be nice. Cause Vic, man, I think you were telling me like, man, you were telling me a while ago, like, I can't believe Atlanta's over, man. All these shows are just being renewed for season after season, like all these CW shows and whatever. And
yeah, all these horrible shows get like 12 seasons and yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. You think about like, you know, Atlanta was just refreshing because, you know, you got options. You can watch Power, you can watch BMF, and you'd be like, man, I'm tired of these shows, man. You know, you can't sell drugs forever. I mean, every show is about, you know, like you watch BMF and you like, they all get locked up. And so you keep watching the show hoping for a different ending because you can go Wikipedia and see what happened to everybody on that show. And you're like, yeah, it got real. Everybody went down. No, you know, Power is Power, you know, like, you know, you got Ghost Power, you got all these different powers. Now you got Power in college right now selling drugs. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, it's I mean, Atlanta's just a fresh breath of air right now. You're right, Vic. All these shows now get 12 episodes like Yellowstone. I'm trying to figure it out, man. I've been trying to watch
that one.
Yellowstone makes me question life. I sit there sometimes and be like, this is what really going on in this park, man, this area. It's a lot more. These people are more complex than I thought. I thought they just served the park and went home at night. Yeah, Yellowstone's out there, man. I mean, you look at that, you look at Snowfall. Snowfall is the story of, man, growing up in the city of Chicago. During the 80s, 90s, man. That's what Snowfall is. Like, my kid was like, what is Snowfall about? Daddy grew up during that era. Let's not talk about Snowfall, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Atlanta was a safe refuge from like, man, just drug dealing. I don't know, man. Like the Wu-Tang show has been pretty good. You know, I've been watching Wu-Tang on Hulu, but I just wanted better actors on the show.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, you know, I understand, you know, this is old dirty bastard's son playing him.
Right.
And you watching it and you just like, yeah, I can't remember this part. It's
Right.
like I feel like the acting could have been better. And I
Uh-huh.
feel like the way they casted that show, they missed the mark a little bit, you know, with the casting.
Right.
Wu-Tang show. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the music and everything is what we remember and everything, but the acting, man, you like it ain't as bad as the Tubi shows, man. Like you ever watch shows on Tubi? Tubi has some of the worst acting I ever seen. I saw a show the other night where a guy got shot in the head. He still identified who shot him. He came out of his coma and identified the shooter and died. I was like, what the hell, Tubi?
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
mean,
Novak, I think you're touching on something because like the guys, all the actors that played in Atlanta were like all awesome actors, right? Like obviously the guy who plays Paperboy and Darius and Van, like all of them are like A-class actors. But not only that, like the director, like he's the same guy who sort of directed that music video, This Is America. And the way that he shoots it too, most of the episodes anyway, almost shoots them all like it's kind of like high quality television. So it's kind of like it tricks your mind too, right? Because you're kind of like, am I watching prestige TV? And then it's like, I'm not, because like, you know, there's like so many like layers to it. So I think that element in itself is like the most hip hop element of it all. It's like you don't know what you're gonna watch because it's just like a melting pot of a lot of ideas.
Right.
yeah, I mean, Hero. Yeah, that's Hero that directed
Yeah.
most episodes of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like that Elon Musk like face going. He takes photos. He stares like he already knows the answer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah. Heroes did a lot of good work, basically, pretty much. I mean, you get into you know, you got This Is America, you got Guava Island, you got you know, that Three Slaps episode, you know, pretty much for Atlanta. That one's real good.
Yeah.
Then you get into you get FKA Twigs. He does a lot of work for Twigs, like that video for her. I mean, he makes provocative videos, man. You know, it's like he's breaking the mold pretty much. You know, the guy is good. The guy is good, man, to be honest with you. I mean, he got his own style, but you know, his style, you know, this guy from Tokyo, Japan knows more, you know, handles Atlanta better than most people who direct movies about Atlanta, which is crazy.
Right.
But he hit it out the park.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
It's like there's so many elements to pull apart slice of life stuff growing up, or whether you relate to how dope the acting is or how cool. There's just a lot of stuff to kind of return to. Yeah, like even like the episodes where there's not even much going on, like when they're going camping and you know they were just hanging out,
Right.
and wasn't there like supposedly some referential thing where like they were trying to catch some like creature, they were trying to shake his hand like the kid was gonna catch it,
Yeah.
and then she wound up catching it. We never saw what the creature was, right?
Right.
Nope.
Nope, they never showed it.
They gave us that Blair Witch moment pretty much.
Right.
or Cloverfield Lane, where you don't actually see the creature and you see him at the end of the movie for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, right?
I mean, it's a good play, man. You know, you talking about the Bigfoot situation. Yeah, it was, there's a lot going on there. I mean, it's like, you know, I would have, what I would love to see from Atlanta if we could have got like a horror episode other than Teddy Perkins. You know, Teddy Perkins is horror at his best. You know, or even like, you know, you think about what they did with Nope. I know you ever seen that. I know you ain't seen that in those days, but I mean, it's not like Us or like Us is creepy because they're trying to say there's like two different cultures and they got one culture of people below the sewers and they got one culture that they let out basically because they're normal. And then what happens? Somebody escapes from the unnormal group into the regular group, and all of a sudden the world is upside down.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean it's Pill, you think about Glover, Hero. I mean, these guys tell great stories, man, right now. I think I wouldn't mind seeing a Hero Pill collaboration with Donald Glover starring, and it would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'd watch it.
Because he's come a long way from Parks and Recreation, man. That dude's acting chops. Or I mean, he's come a long way, man, from NBC. Yeah,
So you said that you think that that Childish Gambino's album is probably gonna drop this year, right?
I think so, man. It's time. It's time, man. I mean, I was hoping something would come with This Is America, man. That single came out, and you didn't get anything after that for a while.
Yeah.
That's probably the one video I watched over and over. And I mean, you got Young Thug doing ad libs on the track. We all know what Thug at right now. And I was like, man, it's just it's just phenomenal how you take this guy's ad libs, put them on the This Is America track, and the fact that you got Glover singing. There's a lot of singing on that track, but yeah, it's probably one of the best tracks, man. It's short. It's short and effective, man. You put it on your car somewhere, and it's over before you hit the red light. Yeah, this America is short, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when you bring up the Teddy Perkins episode, like I think it's not really the same thing, but when you do finish The Swarm, like I feel like that's like the most sort of similar vibe as far as the horror goes on. Cause like it seems like The Swarm is definitely like borderline horror, and it leans into a lot of the music too. A lot of the music that they're trying to pretend like it's Beyonce's music, it actually sounds like Beyonce probably could have made it. Which, yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of like it shows what I don't know. It shows the artistic range of what Donald Glover can do as far as like making actual music sound, like awesome for the show, but also for satire's sake too.
yeah. I mean, he's good at doing parody music. I mean, you think it's a real song. I mean, he's like,
Yes.
he's got that talent right now where he can sell it. It's almost like when you think about like Jamie Foxx has that ability, turn a whole parody into an actual song almost. I mean, Dave Chappelle was decent at it. I mean, Glover's good with it because it's soulful, but it's so funny when you think about it. Like I thought This Is America was a joke when I first heard it. I didn't believe it was a real song, and I was like, because think about it, when they played it like on like SM Satellite, and they played it on the radio.
Yeah.
It was like weird because you listening to it, you're just like, wow, that parody song's on the radio. I'm like, it's a real song. So, because Atlanta was at its height when This America came out, so it kind of caught us off guard because we had to transition from Donald to Gambino again, but we kept saying that's Donald Glover. No, that's Childish Gambino. I'm like, and my kid was like, what's the difference? They're the same people. Because I even love how he talks about, well, man, Gambino will probably drop an album later in the year. I mean, you are Gambino. You know that, right? Yeah, Donald's really good for scrapping Gambino like it's like an alter ego, pretty much. It's almost like MF Doom, if you think about it.
Yeah.
He's got a whole nother ego.
Yeah, and he knows how to tap into it. So yeah, man. Obviously, it was a dope show.
Mhm.
I'm sad to see it go. And yeah, Vic, man, thanks for pushing me to watch it, bro. I another one that I know we can still like geek out on Atlanta, but the show that you still are trying to get me to watch too that I still haven't watched. I think I've only seen the first episode so far was Southside, right? On
Southside. Oh my God. If you guys have not seen it, please
seen
watch it. It's on HBO Max. I'm doing a plug for them, but they just got canceled. So I don't know how much longer it got
Wow.
canceled. Yeah. HBO's been canceling a whole bunch of their series, but just like Atlanta, it was 4 seasons, and it's amazing, man. So I don't know how much longer it'll be on. Something about the rights, or they might pull it off and then take it off later. It's still on there now.
Initially a Comedy Central show, right?
It used to be. It was Comedy Central for 1 season, then it got picked up by HBO Max, and it was 3 more after that. But it is. I was trying to figure out how to describe it, but it is. The guys who made it said it's The Simpsons. It's like The Simpsons. So they were trying to make a real live version of The Simpsons. So if you go into it, because there's like 1,000 characters, and one episode could be about this guy, and then another episode could be about this, and you don't have to watch them all in order either. It's really, really good. So you guys need to watch it. So hopefully we can come back and have a Southside conversation, because I could talk for days. I watch that show. Sometimes I'll just turn it on and I'll be doing something and I'll just have it on in the background. So I'll just be watching it just to have it on in the background, just so there's so many jokes. There's like joke on top of joke on top of joke. And so sometimes you don't catch them all because you're laughing at the first joke, but there's like 2 or 3 more jokes in there that you have to sometimes I have to put the words on, like the little, get the words on the bottom to get all the jokes, but it is hilarious. That's another one that I've been begging Jason to please watch all the episodes.
The one mini clip that keeps ringing in my head that I still gotta go back and watch the show, but I don't know if it's at the beginning of the episode or when it is, but I think the security people in this retail store started briefing the staff. Mm-hmm. They're like, all right, guys, this is like the day we feared all year. I think they're cops, right?
They're cops, right? They're having their rookie
cops, like, hey man.
No, they're having the beat meeting before they go out.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Like, hey, this is the day we feared. And you think they're talking about like some riots or some thing that's gonna go down, some gang fight. Like,
right.
The new Jordans are dropping today, guys. Oh shit. And they're like, oh what?
Oh what? Yeah. It's hilarious. You guys need to watch it.
I'll check it out. I heard about. I keep hearing people pushing me towards the South Side, and I think my problem has been I just got to pick up the show. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, the one that people keep trying to push me toward is Bust Down. I keep hearing about it's a newer show, and I got 1 season of. I have yet to sit and watch it. I mean. It's scary because, you got to get rid of all the Tyler Perry TV shows, unfortunately. I mean, Tyler Perry's got like 19 shows.
Right.
And, it's like, you're like, okay, I want to see something, but I don't want to see a Tyler Perry show.
Right.
Find me something that's different right now.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there right now. I'm trying to think about what's that show that's based in New York about the guy who works in that Jamaican restaurant. I'm talking about they do Jamaican soul food.
That's a show.
Yeah, it's a newer show. I can't think of the name of it right now. There's some funny stuff out there. I mean, I find shows sometimes like when I'm not looking for them, in the middle of the night, and you turn through Netflix or you're looking at HBO Max, you find something ridiculous, you watch a couple episodes.
Yeah. I
mean, I've been finding all types of crazy stuff lately. I mean, we definitely need to do another episode about just TV shows. I think Southside heard is pretty good.
It's really good.
Gotta watch it.
Oh, what was that other clip, Vic? You sent me to about it was like in a CTA train, and somebody was trying to protect some box, but then some the
beatbox crew came in and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do a beatbox battle, and then let me find something to beat on, and then he starts beating on it, and then he does a kick and breaks the box open, and it's all his steaks. So people start laying on the ground to cover up the steaks.
They're trying to transport it, right?
Yeah. Oh, you got to watch it. That whole series is funny.
I actually heard the whole podcast of those creators.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So the podcast was dope. I think it was 1 season, and they were talking about actual people in Southside of Chicago. And
right.
They were interviewing some real life people, and it was really dope. Because I think there's this one episode I remember where they were talking about the Rent-A-Center. Do you remember Brenner Center must be still around, but
It's
how
still
much
around.
of a racket
Oh, yeah.
it was, where it's
Mhm.
like shit
Yeah.
was on layaway or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still out there, man. It's sitting out there. I mean, you see a lot. You see, I mean, it's kind of funny you think about it. I mean, that Brennan Center has stood the test of time, even though it's certainly more of a renter's market today than it was 10, 15 years ago because people are so transitional. You think about it. I mean, like even like on like a couple of shows and people get stuff like I watch Pawn Stars all the time, unfortunately. And I got hooked on that one night, when my wife was pregnant, and I couldn't sleep because she was kicking me or the baby was kicking. So I'm watching Pawn Stars. I'm watching people buy and sell crap all day. And I wake up the next morning tired, and I'm like, man, why am I so tired tonight? I watched Pawn Stars again last night to 6 in the morning. I'm walking around looking at people. I give you 14 for that. I mean, man, them shows, man, get you really good, man. I mean, like, yeah, sometimes you find good shows in weird places, man. Like, the shows I try to avoid, Bridgerton. I know you guys know what the hell that is. Oh, good.
My wife watched it. My wife watched it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I tried to watch that show and I sat there, what's the guy, Reggie? What's his name? Regine or whatever, basically. And he's a Dungeons and Dragons. I can't think of his name right now. So anyway, this guy slithers around the show for like 12 hours of my time in these episodes. Every episode's an hour.
Uh-huh.
And he's like being suave and swimming around. And I'm just like,
Yes.
what the hell did I just watch? Is this a comedy? Because he found out like he gets girls pregnant, so he jumps out of them and jumps across the room. I'm like, what the hell? What is this show? Bridgerton should be called Pull Out. That's what it should be called, basically.
What the hell?
He's not in season 2 though. Maybe because he wanted to do Dungeons and Dragons or whatever else.
So man, you go watch what's his title of the show, Jason? He was a lord or
yeah, right.
Yeah, man, that's a lot, man. That's Bridgerton, man, is wow. It ended up there with Downton Abbey. I tried to watch that too. I got off of that quick. The music is too cynical for me. It opens up the show. I'm like, somebody dies in the first 5 minutes of Downton Abbey. So
Too real.
yeah, it's good stuff out there, man. I just wish I want more Atlanta. I want less Marvel Universe on Disney. Man, they've been missing the mark, to be honest with you. I mean, the Marvel shows, it's like, I mean, like the Lady Hawk, right? It started off, first episode was awesome. Everything after that was so cliche, fighting your uncles, the Hawk, and all this other stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Oh, that last episode was, I tried to stick with it. I have 2 little girls and my wife even got into it. She hates Marvel movies, but that last episode was so bad. I feel like they did it and then they tested it and it didn't test well. And then they had to like rewrite it. And then she's jumping into the screen and stuff and going into the Netflix. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'm like, no, I can't watch. I lost all love for it right at that moment. I'm like, this is too much.
I like Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight was good. Moon Knight was pretty good.
I enjoyed
The other Marvel, Miss Marvel, with the young girl, I couldn't watch all of it. I couldn't get through it. I lost interest. My friends, I keep watching it. It's gonna be good. Keep watching it. 6th or 7th episode. I'm like, sorry, man. I couldn't watch any more of these. So I didn't enjoy that one at all.
So she has the spindle body parts. So Miss Marvel basically, she's Rubber Girl basically, pretty much. It. I mean, but you got to think about it. That Marvel Avengers game was bad, and that's almost based on her. You think about it. Yeah, I mean, I saw what they tried to do. I mean, I think the scary stuff coming. Like, you got the Secret Invasion coming. You got Ahsoka's coming from Disney Plus.
Right.
I mean, I say the Mandalorian has been special.
Yeah, I still haven't seen season 3 yet.
Really?
What?
Did y'all finish it? Is it already done already?
I just watched it right before I got on here.
It's
Oh,
good.
man.
The latest episode. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
It's
Snap.
good. I mean, that's the only saving grace on that channel.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I mean, The Mandalorian has been hot, man. You know, the production value is pretty good. It could have been its own standoff movie. That's how good it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It opens up good. Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's a final segue for some final thoughts. I guess like y'all got any other final things to say about Atlanta, but also what if there was an Atlanta movie? Like, what would you want to see in it? Obviously, Bibby, you probably would want to see that character come
Yeah. I need a whole Bibby spinoff movie.
We want the haircut to be completed.
Yeah, right.
Bibby, man.
With the chain and the hat too.
Right.
Adventures of Bibby.
Yeah.
Oh man, with the earpiece in his head the whole time.
Right.
People still rocking that to this day.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah, the little
Yo,
Jabba headset.
for that next hustle.
We're from 1 ear to 2 ears, man. You think about that. It is crazy walking around those AirPods sitting all day, and Bibby got one piece. So was he more advanced than us?
But yeah, like a movie, I don't know. I think see some of the closure to some of the characters, maybe Ern's relationship, how that all resolved itself. Yeah, I think it would be good. I would definitely watch it if they ever made a movie. But yeah, I think it would be good.
I want to see Paperboy blow up. I want to see paper. I want to see. I want to see Ern basically get custody of his kid. I wouldn't mind see him and Van work it out some type of way.
Yeah.
In that situation, she becomes who she wants to become. He becomes a successful griot or something like that, or Ern becomes like the Hollywood, deal maker or something like that. See them become more like Ari off of like Entourage, but in a different universe, in the Atlanta universe.
Yeah, that's interesting because I thought it was kind of fascinating their relationship the whole show, and I didn't know what to make of it. It felt like they were both okay with it sort of being an open relationship. But then when they went on that camping episode, it almost felt like Ern was trying to prove that he wanted more of the relationship as far as to be solidified. But then again, I don't know, the show is so undefinable. Like they almost presented it that the relationship is so undefinable too. So I know,
yeah,
I'm not sure what it would look like, their relationship later on. Yeah, man. I mean, the show, there's just so many different things. I'm really curious what a movie would look like. It would probably have to be a 4-part movie because you can't just encapsulate everything.
yeah.
I want to see the D'Angelo caverns of all the hidden spaces, bro. I want to see. There's so many things that I want to see. I mean, it's like I want to see Paperboy investing in his I forget what was the acronym, you got to find yourself like a white rapper to invest in.
Oh yeah.
You see, and it's hilarious because that skit, I can see that play off on a Chappelle format with an audience laughing at it. And it's like, as dope as that skit would be during the Chappelle show era, I feel like it's sort of dumbed down now because the way that Atlanta presents is it's so straightforward. It's it's so true, but it's also so sad as far as some of these storylines that they present in front of you. There's no live audience to kind of dumb it down. It's this is your slice of humble pie. Deal with it,
I mean, well, it's different today because the world is so much more sensitive. When Dave was on TV, Dave would get canceled today. You think about it. Atlanta pushed that edge. You're right, because the shock value was there, but there was nobody in the audience to say, "Boo, I don't agree with you." Right. So they got it across real quick, that situation. I mean, or even see Atlanta in a live format like that with the audience. You imagine Atlanta live? They did it for Annie. Okay, we can't do it for Ern right now. Have a live Atlanta episode. or have Teddy Perkins narrate the show in the Teddy Perkins voice. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot I want to see in that. I think it's not done. I think with them basically pretty much. Hell, if they can come back and do Friends, 20 years later, we can do Atlanta. That's how I feel about it. We'll wait for it.
Yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. Definitely can't wait, man. Yeah, like there's just some stuff that it just comes back to you and creeps on you, man. Like I forget what it was. I think it was the character that Novak, when you're talking about the Nandos, right? Like I think they were hanging out with the rich people, and then like Paperboy got hustled for like the money out the poker tournament or whatever, or poker game, and then Earn was hanging out with this other like artist that was on roller skates, right? And like I think he was just telling Earn the sign, like, hey, I'm just hustling these guys, you know what I'm saying? You might want to do the same shit, right?
Right.
There was somebody that me and my wife was hanging out with like not long ago, and they were sort of like in a business too. And then she like took me to the side. She's like, this is just like that episode of Atlanta, yo. I'm like, this person's getting duped right now. And I was like, which episode are you talking about? It's just stripped out. Like there's so many like crazy life lessons in this show that is just like you don't know what you're watching until it hits you later on.
Well, to close out, I guess, on the Atlanta piece, bring you guys back to that Central 5 episode. You remember the Central Park 5 episode? Where they when that company contacted Paperboy to try to say they were sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I was like, what the hell? I was like, sorry for basically putting the Central Park 5 shirt out there. And the look on their face are just like, why are you bothering us with this? Because he don't care.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, like the controversial that show, man, it tackled race. It's like a race, not having money, social problems at a high level, man. I mean, Atlanta is one of those shows you watch and you be like, that's messed up. Right. But it's real. I know that person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true to life.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're making fun of Gucci on that because when Gucci made a shirt, something like that, they got canceled for like 30 seconds. So Atlanta decided to cancel his other fashion house.
Right.
Yeah, man. Too real for TV, but somehow it still ended up on TV. All good for it. So yeah, any other did you want to close this out, Novak?
I definitely close it out, man. I want to thank Vic definitely for coming through, man. Good times.
Absolutely.
We definitely got to do the TV share screen thing, man. You can invite people to watch TV with. This is some crazy stuff, man.
Right.
these concepts you start watching, like Atlanta. I felt like I was alone watching Atlanta for a long time.
Uh-huh. I
heard that you were watching Atlanta. I was like, man, don't say you ain't seen Atlanta. Man, what's going on? Yeah,
culture me.
Man, it caught me. It's just like rap shit when you think about it. There's so much good out there. Basically, I mean, Atlanta definitely touched us. Vic, we thank you definitely for coming on to talk about it. Definitely want to bring you back on, man. We need more TV show episodes. We definitely we find something else to watch. We're gonna talk about it. I think Southside will be the next episode.
Yep, I'm a big Southside fan, so yes, I'll love to come back. I could talk for hours on that show.
Yeah, but also, definitely thank you for coming on. You can definitely check our podcast out on everywhere podcasts available. I recommend everybody go out this weekend and find something nice to watch that isn't Cocaine Bear and have a good time.